What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 9. And y'all, can I tell you something? Listen, I know I'll be doing these reviews off the late night, but your girl be working out. I got to work during the day. So thank y'all for rocking with me and watching whenever I post. But let's get into this foolishness with Marlo Hampton, shall we? All right, y'all. So the episode starts off with Sheree going to her daughter Tiara's podcast. The podcast is actually called, hold on, A Little Kiss and Tell. Okay. So basically, they talk about different sexual positions and whatnot. I forgot the sexual position that they actually were talking about in this episode. But during the interview, Tiara got a notification about some things that Tyrone was evidently posting, or people were posting online about Sheree getting stood up, the pictures and all those things. And Sheree was like, he was the one that actually leaked those photos of me, basically getting stood up. But I'm like, how the hell did he get the pictures and he wasn't there? And it just happened not too long ago. So I didn't understand how that happened. But anyway, she was upset and she's distraught at this point because she's like, I just cannot believe I let this man have me out here looking like a fool. So her friend Fatim says, we've been trying to tell you for the longest time that he is not good enough for you. And I've been trying to hook you up with people, but you ain't trying to see the difference and try to get with different men. And Tiara agreed with her and said, yeah, mom, you're worth so much more. This too shall pass. You will move forward from this and you're going to be okay. And basically everybody been telling her that she deserves better. And Sheree is just upset because she feels like she fell victim to falling in love and ending up looking stupid. Okay. So in the next scene, Marlo is seen with her nephews and they're not clean. She's basically complaining about them not cleaning up. And one of them slit the teddy bear's throat. I'm like, Marlo, you might want to sleep with one eye open because these boys ain't playing. Okay. They have some, not to be, I'm not even trying to be funny, but they are experiencing some trauma right now. Like they're feeling abandoned. Their mom is not going to get out. They're feeling like they're not going to see their mom. And then who knows how Marlo is treating them around the house. We only see what she's doing on camera, right? So the boys are really experiencing some sadness. Like there's a lot going on. They're acting out. And even Marlo says that she's starting to get calls home. And one of the boys even tells us, the teacher has said something about them not paying attention or talking back to the teacher at school or whatever. And William says, no, I didn't say anything about, talking back. I said that the teacher doesn't get paid for arguing with me. Okay. I was like, okay, so now reading the teacher, William, what is going on? Okay. So then Marlo basically tells them she feels she's failing them and she doesn't want the school calling her anymore. And she's basically at this point questioning her parenting skills and if she's actually making the right decisions where it comes to the boys. Here's my thing. I feel like Marlo has kind of entered a different world here. Parenting, this ain't for no punks, okay? Parenting is very serious. Parenting is not easy. It can get very hard at times. However, this is not a job that's for the faint at heart, okay? And you don't run away and give up at the sign of dismay. Kids look to their nurturing parent figure for love and support and nurturing. And I don't know if Marlo is really giving off that. I think that Marlo has been single for so long and not really had to think about anybody but herself. So it's definitely going to be difficult for her to now have to think about two little people and how to help them navigate life. And she's basically cultivating what the trajectory of their life is going to look like. And I think that she's starting to have that fight or flight syndrome where it's like, if I don't, everything is not perfect, then I'm just going to let it go. And we'll talk about that later on in the episode, where she apparently sends the boys off to her sister's house that, oh, by the way, already got 4 damn kids, and she a single parent. But moving on, Kenya meets with Sanya, and they talk about Sanya's living situation and all the people in her house, and basically how the heck does her and Aaron have time to have sex. So she's like, girl, we are like teenagers. We doing it in the car, in the closet. We finding a way to do it. But you know what? I'm glad that she's still finding a way to do it, because some people could use that as an excuse and be like, oh, I don't want to do it. My mom is here, or my dad is in the house. My sister, what if they hear us? But she's not depriving her husband. She's like, listen, I ain't giving you a baby right now. So the least I can do is give it up whenever you need me to give it up. Because that resentment that I asked you about in the last episode, I don't need that arriving and rearing its ugly head today. So let me go ahead and give it up and throw it back real quick and throw it in a circle, so you don't have nothing else to complain about where it comes to me. Now, y'all know I didn't review the last episode, but some key points was that, she said that she didn't want to have a baby. Now, I want to talk about that real quick. I feel like women choosing to have children, that's a big decision, okay? And I feel like, first of all, Deuce is a baby kid. Let's just get real, okay? That little boy is probably the reason for birth control. I insert IUD, which she has, all right? And I feel like she is working and then trying to balance having a kid at the same time. It's going to be a lot trying to balance a newborn, a badass kid, and trying to remain successful. And it seems like, financially, they are still trying to find even footing. Even though she's an Olympic gold medalist, he's a former football player. You would think that these people are already rich beyond measure, but you never know what's going on in somebody's financial household. Okay. So to bring another kid into it, that takes away time and financial resources, because now, Aaron wants to have this kid, but clearly he's not going to be around, just like she feared in the beginning. She's like, well, listen, this is what happened with Deuce. You're traveling back and forth, rightfully so, to manage the businesses, but I don't want to be left to raise this kid alone. And everybody that's living in this house is not going to live here forever. So I kind of get her struggle with that. And then I also wanted to talk about the scene with Candy and Sheree, where they just come at her at the sauna place talking about you haven't been a good friend and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't like friendship relationships where it seems like people are asking more of you than they're actually willing to give you. And that's really messed up, because Candy has a lot going on. That people act like Candy is sitting around twiddling her freaking thumbs. This woman is on several TV shows. She's on this show. She's doing her, songwriting businesses. She has restaurants. She has all these things. She got her own kids and husband to deal with. She has her own family. Like, y'all gotta understand, this lady is not just sitting down kicking her feet up worrying about how to not be a good friend. So I think that all of these things, putting them into perspective, people need to really analyze in their friendships, like, are you being selfish, needy, or what have you? And then analyze, what are you providing for the friend? Because the strong friend needs somebody to reach out to them as well. So when Candy got upset, I could feel her, because I feel like that sometimes in friendships. Like, I'm very busy. I'm doing this. I'm working. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have so many things that are going on in my life. I don't have time to deal with a friend that's complaining about me not having enough time for them. Now, granted, I try to make time for my friends as well, but they also have to be understanding of me trying to get my bag, if you know what I mean. But anyway, moving on, I just wanted to kind of touch points on that, because I didn't do a full review of the last episode. So moving on. In the next scene, Fatim, which is Sheree's friend, comes over, and her and Sheree talk about the articles about that are out there on the blogs about Tyrone. And Sheree gets very emotional, like talking about it and how all of this has become overwhelming and how she just feels stupid. So, y'all, I don't want to discount anybody's emotions, okay? But it's the crying seemed a little fakery. I didn't see a tear. I didn't see a disrupted eyelash or so. But that could be because she has a really great installation. I don't know. I didn't see the makeup get too messed up. It's giving. Were you really crying, Sheree? Let's just say we're not getting a Golden Globe off of that performance. Okay, moving on. Um. Anyway, so her Fatum consoles her and says, "Listen, we've been trying to tell you for years as your friends that this guy is just not the one." And Sheree says, "Well, from now on, you MFers better tell me the daggone truth, because right about now, I don't have time, energy, nor space to be dealing with any other men in my life that are not worthy of my time or space." Okay, so they toast to moving on, telling the truth, and so on and so forth. So moving on, in the next scene, Drew and her mom are getting pedicures, and she's just kind of updating her mom on everything that's been going on. She tells her mom about the book that Ralph is writing about being a step parent, and how the former assistant got him the deal, but he ended up firing the former assistant because Drew didn't feel comfortable with her. Now, here's my thing. Why you didn't tell your mama the whole story about how Ralph was basically flirting with this chick? Why did you not feel comfortable with the chick? You didn't tell your mother the full story. And yeah, your husband is shiesty, Drew. That's what you need to be talking to your mama about, okay? But I love her mama's hair. I love that she cut the dreads off, and it looks really, really good. I liked her dreads, but I'm really loving the short haircut on her mother as well. But moving on, also with this book, Drew talks about, with Ralph writing the book, that she thought that Ralph adopting her oldest son Josiah was going to come out of this. Like, you're writing a whole book about being a step parent, but you really are not going forth with the full process. Like, Ralph gives an excuse of, "Oh, I don't want to adopt him because that's disrespectful to his biological father," which apparently, from what Drew is saying, the biological father is not really in Josiah's life, which is her oldest son. And Ralph has pretty much been his father figure in raising him. My thing is, just because he doesn't have the same blood running through his veins doesn't mean that he's not your son. So go ahead and adopt him. The little boy already got your damn last name. Why can't you adopt him? Like, I just think Ralph is just overall shady, and he just does things that are just very questionable. And you sitting up here writing this whole book, what are you writing about? How you helping anybody? Because you're not even practicing what you preach at this moment. So then Drew begins to tell her mother about a lot of the drama that's going on surrounding the ladies, and how she feels like Sonia is turning against her. And, she says, "Yeah, you met Sonia at your birthday party and we were cool, but she's been doing some questionable things that has me side-eyeing her. Like, is she really, like, is she a fake friend or whatever?" So then the mom plays this message from another prophet. Here we go. Listen, I'm religious as well, but I'm just like, who are these random people that's just seeing all this stuff? So the prophet basically says that there's somebody in her circle that's fake, that has the image of a woman. It could be a man that, portrays himself has female characteristics, or some woman that's around her that's causing turmoil in her life. So I'm like, okay, prophet. So the mom, basically Drew and the mom talk about it, and Drew is just questioning throughout her head, who the hell is this person that's causing all these issues in my life, and should I be side-eyeing all these bras that's around me? So the mom says, you know what, at this point we need to be thinking about sisterhood, rebuilding the village, and not having everybody tearing things down. We need to just all work together. So I'm like, okay, mama, with the spiritual awakening in sorts. Okay, let's get some positivity in this space. So in the next scene, Marlo meets up with Sanya and Sheree at the furniture store because her house will be ready in 12 to 18 months. And it takes a long time to get furniture. So she doesn't want to move into the house with absolutely nothing. So she wants to put the furniture on order now. So at least she'll have furniture when the house is ready. So Sheree comes and Sanya shows up, and she asks Sheree how much does she what's going to be the most expensive room in the house, and how much did she pay for the most expensive room? So Sheree said, well, the most expensive room was the living room, and I spent about $40,000. So y'all, here's my thing. I hate to bring this up, but I'm like, Sheree, where you get all this money from? Like, I know Atlanta is fairly inexpensive to live, right? Compared to like a Washington, D.C. or New York City, right? But, ma'am, where you getting all this money from? Because you wasn't on RHOA for a long time, and definitely not long enough to be getting Candy or Nene checks. So did you find the space that Tyrone dug a hole and put the money in and put it towards your house? Chateau Thelma? I don't know. And did your mama have all this money? And if your mom had all this money, why was you living in that apartment and your kids was on air mattresses? Or maybe she got back child support from, Bob. Who knows what? I don't know where the money coming from, child, because I don't know what Sheree does. I know she was doing some personal training stuff, but I'm like, well, damn, who is your client, Beyonce? How much money are the people paying you? What do you do for? Are you doing strange things for change, Sheree? I listen. I'm just asking the question, and I'm sure the people want to know. We don't know where the coinage is coming from, and this is a substantial amount of coinage that she has acquired. So I'm just saying, okay. But moving on. So then Sheree invites the ladies over to a pajama sleepover party, and they talk about the Drop It with Drew event and how she feels like Kenya reacted in a crazy manner. And Sanya says, well, I did have a chance to meet up with Kenya previously yesterday. Oh, y'all, I skipped the whole damn scene with Kenya where Sanya went over her house. But anyway, it wasn't even that much. Basically, in that scene, Kenya meets up with Sanya. They talk about, actually, no, we did talk about that. But we didn't get to the part where Candy called. They talked about the intruder coming into her house. And then they talk about Kenya being a single mom and how she doesn't really have a whole lot of help because, Sanya was talking about her and having help all around the house with Deuce. This was after she was talking about the sexcapades, how they have to go random places to have sex. And then Kenya was saying it's hard being a single mom. Candy calls to talk about the intruder. Then they talk about the Drop It with Drew situation where Marlo was accusing Kenya of not being sick and how she's trying to be her friend, but pretty much being deceitful. So now Sanya is talking to Marlo and she's sharing with her basically what Kenya said and how she feels about the whole situation, where she just feels like, it's not very genuine that Marlo wants to be her friend, because it's like 1 minute you singing her praises or you're saying y'all are friends, and then the next minute you talking crap about her. So it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Do I really want to be around this person? And is this lady trustworthy? And so Sanya asked Marlo, can you be around her and not be so harsh, with all the comebacks? And Marlo was basically like, no, I don't know how to be like that. I'm so sorry. It is what it is. And so then then they start talking about, hold on, y'all, I done lost my daggone place. So then Kenya starts talking about Marlo starts talking about the boys. And she says that she ended up kicking them out of the house because she said they had went to the laundromat and to wash the clothes, and she came back and they never dried the clothes or something. The clothes was wet, and so she just got fed up. They had done too much at this point. First of all, let me just stop for a second. Why are y'all going to the laundromat? It's only 3 people in this house. And Marlo, you so fabulous and all. I get it. Your clothes are designer and very expensive. So I can imagine most of her clothes probably go to the cleaners. So she's probably not washing a lot of her clothes herself anyway. But why are y'all going to the laundromat, sis? Is your washer and dryer broken? And you own this townhouse, right? I'm pretty sure that this townhouse has a space for a washer and dryer. At least I hope so. Like I have questions. I don't understand why y'all going to the laundromat. And I can't even imagine Marlo Hampton being caught dead in a daggone laundromat. I'm just saying. This must be some upscale kind of place. So she ends up sending the boys to stay with her sister Crystal. Now, mind you, Crystal, I saw she had a mask on and some scrubs. She must be a nurse. So this is during the time of the C-19. I don't understand why you would send them over there with her. This woman probably already has enough stress dealing with patients, because this is I guess this recorded in 2021. So last year we were still kind of in the thick of things, and you are sending 2 extra mouths to feed over there. She already has 4 children, and she's also a single parent. What are you thinking? How was that supposed to benefit the boys? It's given selfish. Like, I feel like Marlo was wearing the boys like a badge of honor and like something to create a conversation piece. And I'm not even gonna say that. I don't doubt that she loves her nephews, but that's just real trifling to send the kids over there with your sister who already has a lot going on. You got to learn how to stick it out. Kids are not something that you can they're not like a Gucci bag where you can wear it, and then when you decide that it's all frayed and torn up, it's not doing what it used to do. It's not giving what it needed to give previously. You just toss it to the side. It's not the same thing. So I'm really disappointed in her decision to send the boys over there, because I just think that was a coward move. So apparently she sent them over there for 30 days, and she's been going to therapy and just trying to dig deeper, because she just feels like it's tough, and she's afraid of failing where it comes to the boys. So moving on, Shay hosts all the ladies at her house, and Fatim tells the ladies about a background check that she did on Drew and Ralph. And apparently they have an alias by the name of Danielle, which Danielle, come to find out, is actually one of their many assistants. Which, again, why do y'all have all these assistants? What are y'all doing? And Candy said it best. She was like, listen, I don't know why they got all these assistants. Ralph kind of gives me Tommy, like always saying he has a job, but we don't know what it is. Nobody knows what Ralph does. We don't know what Drew does besides she's a cast member on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. What else do you do, Drew? The game has been over for a long time. The Disney Channel is gone. What else was she doing? Singing, I guess. I don't know what Drew was doing. And drop it with Drew. I don't see her really dropping anything. I just need her to drop the bullshit. That's what I need her to do. Drop the bullshit. That's what I need you to do, Drew. Okay? So anyway, Fatim says, listen, they got some stuff going on over there, and if she keep on messing with me, I'm gonna keep on getting some information on her tail. So in the next scene, everybody is gathering around, they drawing naked bodies and whatnot, and Drew ends up confronting Sanya about her having something to say about questioning how busy her and Ralph actually are. So Sanya is like, girl, I'm not trying to be talking about this right now, but I feel like Drew was, I don't know if she was necessarily coming in peace in the beginning, but she was questioning, like, girl, you talking about I'm not busy enough, or you questioning how busy I am. Like, what was the purpose behind that? And Sanya tried to play it off like she wasn't really trying to be shady. Sanya, first of all, we all are thinking it. Okay, we agree with you. We don't think that they're that damn busy either, girl. But don't sit up here and act like you ain't mean it like that. You did. Okay, and it's okay. We don't think Drew doing shit either. Just own your shit. But Sanya decides to walk away because she don't want to smoke today. So whatever. So moving on. Marlo, and they all sit down to eat, and Marlo and Candy go off. Like, Marlo says she has to go to the bathroom, and Candy apparently was going to the bathroom too. So they end up going into the massage room and having a discussion. So Marlo reveals that she's stressed. She's drinking more. She went to the doctor, and she also tells she's been going to a therapist, and she tells Candy that she kicked the boys out. And Candy tells her kicking them out isn't the answer. And Marlo says she's just getting into arguments with everyone because she's so stressed. And Candy says she was thrown off by seeing her today because she listening to all the stuff that she was saying about her and how she had been acting. It's just been really like she was about to disown her at the end of the day. And they end up hugging it out, and all is well. Okay. So for now, until Candy watched this show back, y'all watch Speak on it. She ain't good with Marlo. But anyway, all the ladies sit down and eat, and they are supposed to say something nice to each other and say, yes, queen, afterwards. And this is all in the spirit of helping Sheree to get over Tyrone. So Kenya is drunk and turned up, child. Like, I love drunk Kenya. Okay. Kenya is hilarious. Now, I'm not trying to encourage anybody to have an alcoholism problem, but if drunk Kenya show up maybe every 3 episodes, I'm good with it. I love it. I like it. She's loosened up. Like, I think Kenya has really shown a different side of herself this season, period. And I love to see it. I love what I'm seeing here. So moving on, everybody says what they need to say, and they get to Drew, and she says she's happy she's getting along with almost everybody there, being shady, basically throwing a little shade at Sanya. So then Lisa Wu speaks up and says, Lisa Wu speaks, then Kenya is saying what she wanted to say about the group, and then Kenya says, whatever your desires are, may they come true, because you are all queens. Then they go back to Drew to give her another chance to not be shady, but she chose to be shady. Okay. Sheree says she doesn't know how. She, in her confessional, says that Drew doesn't know how to give a compliment because she isn't used to giving them. So she then addresses Marlo. Drew addresses Marlo in an effort to kind of get the heat off of her, and says Marlo said that she loves everyone, and Marlo bounces it back to Drew and says, well, do you love Sanya? And then she just says, well, I love everyone, even my enemies. I'm like, girl, okay, Drew, whatever, we understand you don't like Sanya, whatever. So then so Lisa starts going on and on in her drunken brigade, talking about how, you got to forgive people because it's more so forgiveness for you because they're never going to admit when they're wrong and all this, that, and the third. So Sanya tells Lisa to move on because she's been talking too damn long, child. I guess she was tired of talking to the boo of the Lisa, okay? And then they go back and forth, and then Drew addresses Fatim, speaking about Ralph, and says she is not going to. Then Fatim says she's not going to apologize to Drew. So then Kenya jumps in and says, well, Fatim got a background check on you, Drew. Apparently you and Ralph got some aliases. Let's talk about that. Like, apparently Ralph has an alias called Danielle, and Drew is like, Danielle is my assistant. Okay. If you want to come over my house, you are more than welcome. She will be there. Okay. So then Fatim continues to address Drew, and Drew ignores her, asking for more salad. Child, Drew, it's a salad, but are you still dropping it? I'm just saying, because you haven't left this table at all in this entire scene. Even when everybody goes to toast, you still sitting at the table eating, but whatever. So Drew, Kenya falls out saying, this is what a sloppy drunk looks like. And she imitates a drunk. I'm like, Kenya, you are over here living your best life, sis. So then everyone is loving drunk Kenya. Drew says Sheree should address her friend about looking into her background. She's like, listen, you got upset about, Drew says to Sheree, you got upset about what my assistant said, and you got mad because I didn't say anything to you. Why aren't you addressing your friend? And Sheree says, listen, I'm a part of the Mind Your Business ministry, and I didn't go out here telling everybody. She told you. I ain't say shit. So what we're not going to do is include me. So I didn't say anything to anybody else, and I surely wasn't going to say anything to you. You didn't say nothing to me. I'm not going to say nothing to you. I'm over here minding my business in the Chateau Sheree of it all. Okay, and that's that on that. Her name is Bennett if she ain't in it. That's what she said. All right. So then Sheree, Kenya says, well, Drew, do you love Fatim? Just kind of driving the dagger more because Marlo says she loves everybody. And so Drew asked, does she love Fatim? And then is Danielle Ralph's alias. So Drew says, that's my assistant. You can come to my house and see her. And Kenya then asks if her wig is on straight. Child, I about passed out in the flow. Because Kenya is like, at this point, I don't really give a damn what y'all think about me. I'm over here living my best life and having a good old time. So Candy and Fatim change the, scenery, and they have Sheree come and put on this smock, and they get her ready for this vagina incense. So apparently the vagina incense is supposed to ward off all the bad D, okay? And the bad D belonging to Mr. Tyrone specifically. All right. So they all have a good old laugh. Sheree twerks on the little incense stick or whatever. And then at the end of it, everyone is just having fun. And Kenya suggests that they all toast to Sheree and comments about her wig. She was like, even though I'm wearing a wig, I have 24 inches of hair that I'm proud of. And Marlo says she's glad Kenya is embracing wig wearing. So Kenya says, oh my gosh, everybody's always looking for a moment. I am the moment. And then Marlo says, well, your baby daddy don't think you the moment. Now, Marlo, why you have to say that? That was entirely unnecessary. So then Marlo goes on to talk about a road trip to Blue Ridge. And then Kenya laughs and says, road trip. Then Marlo starts violently clinging her glass with Kenya's, like just trying to start stuff. And I'm just like, girl, let it go. You just was over here talking about how much you love everybody and this, that, and the third. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't even know what emotions you're feeling from minute to minute. It's like, it's given ridiculous. So Candy was like, I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable with this. Don't do that. So Candy is stopping Marlo from violently clinging her glass with Kenya's. And Kenya's so out of it, child. She ain't thinking about Marlo. So Kenya says, all right, I'm leaving. So she goes upstairs to running around Sheree's house. So everybody running after drunk Kenya. So Kenya, she's like, I am the moment. I am the moment. So then she comes back and she says, okay, I'm ready to toast again. I'm like, this girl is plumb cray cray, but I love it. It's hilarious. So then they do another toast and everybody says, yes, queen. And that's the end of it. So then they show the mid-season trailer where Candy is basically like, when you go low, I'm going to go lower. And everybody is, Marlo is coming for everybody still. Sanya has a spat with somebody. I don't know if editing is making it seem like it's her and Kenya, but I'm interested to see who else she got a damn problem with. And then the main basis for the second half is Sheree's fashion show. So apparently Sheree's supposed to have her fashion show and Tyrone shows up. And I'm like, that walk that he has coming in there looking like Debo. I'm like, come on, Tyrone. Okay, sis. All right, whatever. It's given I'm trying to be too hard, but okay. So I hope that Sheree really does follow through with this whole clothing line. I've looked on her website today and I see nothing. Maybe it's another website site that she's creating, but I really want her to do it this time. Like, I really want her to get this clothing line off the ground. Like, she can do athleisure products. She can do the yoga mats and all the accessories to go with it. I just think that she's really dragging her feet with it. And my thing is, you spent all this money on this house. How are you maintaining it? Where is your money coming from to keep all this luxury stuff? Why are you trying to keep up with the Joneses? Like, I am so sick and tired of, and I hate to say this, Black people that want to look rich, but you really not. Show your children how to create wealth, not how to create more debt, trying to look like you look the part. It's really sad at her big age that you still trying to keep up with people around you. It's sad and it's a lot. But anyway, y'all, I'm excited about the second half of the season. I want to see Candy give it back to all of them and saying, you pick a side. Cause you don't know what you want to do. And Monyetta, where you been? You ain't said shit this whole episode. I'm like, I thought that Monyetta Shaw, what's her last name? Yeah, I thought she would have been a good housewife. But it seems like she's just like Cynthia 2.0, just quieter. Like, she's Cynthia in the beginning. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's given Lisa Wu and Fatum gave the best energy in this episode. But Lisa, you were given too much. Like, I'm just like, girl, are you fighting to get a peach back? Are you trying to take Sanya's peach? And I feel like Sanya didn't go back and forth with Lisa because she's like, why am I about to go back and forth with a non-cast member? Like, ma'am, your contact card said Sheree's friend. It didn't even say former OG of the Housewives, which would have been more respectful if they had done that. Like, I'm like, why she got to be Sheree's friend now? This woman was like one of the original housewives on this show. Like, put some respect on her name. But anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches this show too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.